The moment everyone feared has finally arrived in Formula One. After 2 decades at the helm of Red Bull, Christian Horner was unexpectedly dismissed last Wednesday, July 9th. Now, Helmut Marko, the team's experienced sports advisor, has broken his silence on this decision that is causing tremors throughout the category. But does this statement reveal more than it should about the real factors behind this surprising dismissal? Let's start with the basics, as there are multiple dimensions to this story beyond what is apparent. Christian Horner was not just another team manager. He had led Red Bull for 20 years, turning the energy drink brand into one of the leading forces in Formula One. During his tenure, the team won world titles, developed talent, and became a benchmark for innovation and determination in competition. Horner was responsible for identifying and developing drivers such as Sebastian Vettel, Daniel Ricciardo, and, of course, Max Verstappen. He established a working methodology based on boldness and the constant pursuit of excellence. However, last Wednesday, that entire trajectory changed radically. The dismissal was so sudden that it surprised even the drivers themselves. Max Verstappen, Red Bull's main asset, was forced to release an official statement. Oliver Mintzlaff, Red Bull's executive director of corporate projects, also spoke out. But there was a disturbing silence coming from a very important figure, Helmut Marko, and that silence was communicating more than any statement. Marko is not an ordinary person within Red Bull. He is the team's most powerful sporting advisor, has worked directly with Horner for over 20 years, and knows all the secrets behind the scenes. If anyone understood what was really going on, it was him. So why did it take him over 24 hours to speak out? This delay already revealed a lot about the internal environment of the team. In Formula One, 24 hours is an eternity when it comes to crises of this magnitude, and the situation does not stop there. The tensions between Marko and Horner were no mystery to those who follow Formula One closely. Over the years, several reports in the specialized press indicated frequent disagreements between the two. They were intense personalities with different perspectives on how to run the team, and this created constant conflict. Marko has always been known for his fiery temperament and direct positions, while Horner has maintained a more conciliatory and strategic profile. On several occasions, journalists have witnessed heated discussions between the two during race weekends. Their collaboration was efficient, but never peaceful. When Marko finally spoke out, his statement was meticulously crafted. He began by acknowledging their 20 years of collaboration, both in Formula One and in the former Formula 3000. He highlighted their successes, mentioning the 2 world champions they helped to develop and several Grand Prix winners. It was all very formal, very respectful, but anyone familiar with Marko's outspoken style knows that such courtesy hides much more than it reveals. The 81-year-old Austrian has never been known for excessive diplomacy, so this moderate and reserved statement raises even more questions about what really happened. The timing of this resignation could not be more damaging for Red Bull. The team is going through one of its most complicated seasons in recent years. Max Verstappen, who completely dominated the last few seasons, now finds himself in a desperate situation in the championship. He is 69 points behind leader Oscar Piastri, a difference that corresponds to almost 3 complete victories. With only 12 races remaining in the season, the numbers are not favorable. To make matters worse, Piastri's McLaren has been flying in recent races, while Red Bull seems to have completely lost its technical direction. And here's the key point. Changing the team boss in the middle of a sporting crisis is an extremely dangerous decision. Laurent Mekies, who came from Racing Bulls to take over from Horner, is a respected professional, but he needs to adapt quickly to a complex situation. Red Bull has no time for adjustment periods. Every race that passes without positive results pushes the world title further away. Mekies had a successful stint at Ferrari as sporting director, but now faces the challenge of leading a team in deep crisis, with pressure coming from all sides. But the problem goes beyond the championship numbers. Horner's departure represents a fundamental change in Red Bull's culture. He was not just an administrator, he was the public face of the team, the spokesperson at press conferences, the negotiator behind the scenes. His absence creates a leadership vacuum that could affect everything from the motivation of the mechanics to negotiations with suppliers and sponsors. Horner had a unique ability to motivate people and create a work environment where everyone felt part of something bigger. That special atmosphere cannot be rebuilt overnight. Marko's statement also reveals something interesting about the team's current mindset. He emphasizes that there are still 12 races to go, and that they will continue to fight for the title as long as it is mathematically possible. This statement may sound like determination, but it can also be interpreted as an admission that the chances are slim. When a veteran like Marko needs to remind himself that the fight continues, it's because things are not easy internally. It's almost as if he's trying to convince himself that there is still hope. And there is another detail that cannot go unnoticed: the timing of the resignation. Why now, exactly? Why not at the end of the season, when it would be more natural to make structural changes? This urgency suggests that something very serious was going on behind the scenes, something that couldn't wait a few more weeks to be resolved. Perhaps there was an internal ultimatum, unbearable pressure from the Austrian headquarters, or even threats to leave from key people in the organization. Rumors in the Formula One paddocks have already begun to circulate. Some talk about fundamental strategic differences between Horner and Red Bull headquarters. Others mention internal pressure related to this season's disappointing results. There is speculation about personality conflicts that have finally reached a breaking point. But the truth is that so far no convincing official explanation has been given. And that only fuels speculation about what really motivated this drastic decision. What we do know is that Red Bull is at a crossroads. With Verstappen clearly frustrated with the car's performance, the technical team under pressure to find quick solutions, and now a radical change in leadership, the coming months will be decisive for the team's future. If they fail to turn this situation around quickly, we could be witnessing the end of an era in Formula One. Red Bull could go from absolute dominance to supporting role in a matter of months, something we have seen happen to other teams in the past. Marko's statement, however respectful, does not hide the gravity of the moment. 20 years of partnership do not end overnight for trivial reasons. And when someone with Marko's experience needs to publicly reaffirm his commitment to the title fight, it is because internally, the doubts are enormous. Red Bull's future now depends on how the team manages to reorganize under new leadership without losing focus on the pursuit of immediate results. So the question remains, is this radical change at Red Bull the beginning of a new era of victory or the beginning of the end of one of the greatest dynasties in modern Formula One? The next few Grand Prix races will begin to answer that question, but one thing is certain. Formula One will never be the same without Christian Horner at the helm of Red Bull. And if you want to understand how these radical changes could completely affect the future of the sport, click on the video appearing on your screen, because there I tell you all the behind-the-scenes details of how internal disputes can destroy even the most powerful teams in Formula One.